Hey guys, welcome back to another video with InfoSec Pat. It's been a while, I know, but today we're going to be talking about 5 top benefits about having a managed service provider and outsourcing your IT. Okay, just like I showed on my screen, the top 5 benefits of outsourcing IT through a managed services, meaning like if you have an MSP, they're also known as managed service providers. There is some pros and cons before we get into the top 5. In my opinion, the good thing is, obviously we'll talk about the good things, but let's talk about the bad things, I guess, or the not so good things or the complaints that, MSPs get. The turnaround time, right? So say, for example, you have a printer or a server or something locally that you don't have an in-house IT team, right? Because you normally outsource your stuff when you don't have, the skills, number one, maybe the skill set for managing like high-level networking or high-level virtualization or cloud services like you're putting your servers in a private cloud or Amazon or Google or Azure or something like that. So that's what I've gotten complaints because I've worked for many managed service providers, and I have a small one myself that I do on the side that I help people. I've been doing it for many years, and sometimes I have a full-time gig and I do that on the side. So sometimes like I'll get an email and obviously I'm working on my primary gig and it's just not convenient enough to get to that, client or whatever, or a lot of the stuff. Now I do more of network security and security driven stuff. So I do a lot more stuff at night or on off hours because if I'm doing a pen test or a vulnerability scan or some kind of, job like that, it's gonna impact the network that I'm working on. So we don't want to do that during business hours and take down servers, etc. So that's probably my biggest complaint, that when I was working for an MSP or when I have my own, like the turnaround time, like my printer's broken. So you have to put in a ticket or email the company. They have to look at it and they say, okay, a printer's not a big priority. So if they have client B that has a server down, client A is going to wait for their printer and then they get mad or whatever. But enough with the negative, right? Let's go into some positive stuff. So top 5 benefits of outsourcing your IT to a managed service provider. This is saying if you don't really have IT staff in-house, this is probably something like 25 users or less, like you don't have an IT team or your accountant or someone that knows a little bit about computers is your IT, but you want someone, obviously understand bigger picture of the network and stuff like that. So my number one is control IT costs, right? So say for an example, before we get into the definition, what I put up, like say for an example, a system administrator or a help desk guy is, for an example, I don't know, $60,000 US, right? Or $55,000. You'll pay a help desk or a system administrator, an entry-level person, right? That can take care of your printers and add a user to Active Directory and remove a virus or reinstall Windows, the basic stuff, right? So now you have this managed service provider that can do it for an example, $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year versus paying someone 50 grand. So you're saving half, right? So you can control that IT cost, right? So outsourcing converts fixed IT costs. So that's it. This is your IT cost that you're going to pay me, and this is it, finished. So this allows you to budget, effectively, efficiently, and stuff like that. So you know what your bills are for IT. In other words, only pay for what you use when you need it. So what I mean by that, so say for example, you can call me up as an as needed basis, and you can buy what's called block time. So for an example, I'm not going to give you my rate on the internet. If you want to know my rate, you can call me or text me or whatever, or reach out to me. But for an example, I'm going to throw out an easy number, $100, right? So if you pay me $100 an hour, right? So now if you only need me for 10 hours a month, that's $1,000, right? So that's $12,000 a year. Or you can say, we can have a block of, for example, I have a full-time gig, like I said, and I say, I'm available, Monday or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday from 6 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, right? Those are my hours that I'm able to work, right, for myself or whatever. And you can call me during those hours and it's $100 an hour, for an example. So that's what I mean by, you can pay as you need it instead of just, having a contract basis. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Well, let's go the other way. So reduce labor costs, right? So hiring and training an IT staff, like if you do have an IT staff, it can be very expensive. That's for sure. I've went through many trainings, and if you guys know me, my subscribers, my supporters, you guys know I've went through a lot of training and a lot of certifications throughout my career. And it's been very expensive, super expensive. And about 95% of my certifications I've done myself out of my own pocket. No one's, 5% of my employees throughout my career paid for my certifications. So it's very little. I probably got $5,000 or maybe, $5,000 over the, 17 years I've been working in IT, and the rest of the X amount of dollars, I don't even know how much I spent on certifications and training throughout the many years. Is probably a lot of money. And I have a master's degree, and I have, so I've spent a lot of money on training and education. And so let's go back to here. So hiring and training IT staff can be very expensive, unless you get lucky and get one of mine, someone like me, and that I enjoy training, and I'm going to do it for myself, and I'm going to go get trained. And temporary employees, don't always live up to your expectations. And obviously outsourcing lets you focus on your human resources wherever you need the most of your focus on your business. So what do I mean by that? Living up to your expectations, meaning if you're paying someone as a contractor, they're not going to live, so say for example, you have a temporary person, right? You hire me as a temporary person to do a project, right? So we're, someone as a temp and versus a real-time employee or an actual consultant that you're going to actually pay, that temporary person is not going to be very reliable. Trust me, I've been there. I've witnessed, we hired temps to do a project, or, while someone's out on like sick leave, or God forbid something happened, it happened a few times in my career that someone's out for 6 months in surgery. Then we get a temporary person for 6 months to fulfill that position, and they're so lazy. And it's a bummer because we're paying you for 6 months, but you're doing nothing. So remember that. So reduce labor costs. That's number 2. Okay, what happened? So the next one is trained, experienced, qualified, and certified. I put this up because this is pretty much me in a definition, right? Like, if you're not IT trained, if you don't have certifications, if you don't have any kind of experience, any kind of hands-on, real-world stuff, how do you assure an employee is qualified, right? How do you assure someone is what you say they are, right? So as a managed service provider, we get certified because we work on multiple networks, multiple infrastructures. So we have to be more diverse, right, in different technologies. If I'm working for you and you have a Cisco ASA, for an example, or a Palo Alto or a WatchGuard firewall, and I'm working on that ASA every day, I'm not going to be exposed to Palo Alto, to all the SonicWall, etc., pfSense, unless I go home like I used to do and I still do and play around with different technologies. But usually the person that's in-house only is exposed to the one specific technology. So let me explain. So pretty much, how do you assure your employees are qualified? Certifications like the CCNA. I just put up a few. CCNA is the Cisco Certified Network Associate. CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, if you're doing like this, a little bit of the security stuff. And MCSE, which is the old school Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, or the new school Microsoft Certified Solutions Solutions Expert. Sorry, I always forget those for a second because I haven't done a Microsoft Cert in a while. Are important, but is so expensive. But it is, the experience is awesome. That's what it all boils down to. It boils down to experience. Having qualified certifications, that just verifies a technology that you know it, but having that hands-on experience, a lot of MSPs are more diverse than your single point of IT in-house. That's just my opinion, right? These aren't facts. These are just what I think, and you guys can take it or leave it, and just leave me comments, man. Like, I want to know what you guys think about this. So, number 4, qualified doesn't equal experience. So, what do I mean by this? So, what I mean is a few problems. Excuse me. A few problems are new for leading IT service companies, right? Which can relate. We can relate to different problems at multiple times. Meaning, you have 10 engineers on your staff, you can work on multiple projects at once. If you only have 2 people in your IT staff in-house, you can only work on a few projects at once because you're limited, right? So an in-house IT employee, they're mostly isolated with, no matter how much they train, how much they do, they're always isolated to that specific technology that they're working on. We'd all rather an experienced doctor, I put this analogy up there, then, that's the same thing with IT. Do you want a doctor that just puts a needle in you and checks your ears? But what about the critical stuff? Like, what if I have the coronavirus, God forbid? You know what I mean? And the doctor is not exposed, or well-trained and continue their education in the medical field. Same concept. You want someone that continues education, and usually in-house IT people stay stagnant. It's my experience, and I've witnessed it as well. All right, last but not least, stay focused on your core business. So as a company, you want to stay focused on your own business. You don't want to worry about IT, right? So businesses have limited resources, and every manager has limited time and attention. Outsourcing can help your business stay focused on your core business and not get distracted by complex IT decisions. Meaning, so now I have my business, you consult with me about a new antivirus solution. I'm just putting it out there. And you're like, oh, you want to focus on building your business. You want to focus on, bringing your stuff to the next level. You don't want to worry about something that you don't really care about. You just want your systems to work, right? So leave that up to someone like myself or a managed IT. So we are professionals in that field, and we can drive you to the best solution possible instead of just worrying about different IT, tactics and different IT tasks and everything like that. So that's pretty much it, so hopefully this has been informative for you guys. And if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. And these are my top 5 benefits that I think, if you're a small company, you should go with an MSP. And if you have any questions, if you want to consult with me, you can reach out to me on my Instagram, my Twitter, you can shoot me an email. And I'm looking forward to hearing comments and everything on this video. I really appreciate it. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you.